Hello friends. Welcome back to our channel. On June 5, 2024, at 10:52 a.m., a Starliner spacecraft was launched in America. It was carrying two experienced astronauts from NASA, Commander Barrywilmore and pilot Sunitha Williams. They were going on a short trip to the International Space Station. The spacecraft they were traveling in, Starliner, is a bit special. It was built by a private company, Boeing. The same company that makes airplanes, which recently faced multiple crashes. This Starliner spacecraft is still in the developing stage, and this particular mission was the final test to evaluate the capabilities of the Boeing Starliner. That's why this mission was literally named the Boeing Crew Flight Test. The next day, after 27 hours, at 1:34 p.m., the spacecraft began docking at the International Space Station. It was a successful docking, and after some time, both astronauts happily entered the space station. Pilot Sunitha Williams was so excited while entering. This successful docking meant that Boeing became the world's second private company to make and fly a human orbital spacecraft, with SpaceX being the first. To date, only 3 countries have been able to achieve this: Russia, the USA, and China. However, the celebration for this good news could not last long. This Starliner mission was supposed to last only 8 days, with the astronauts due to return to Earth after that time. But today, even after 3 months, both these astronauts are still in space. There are many problems with this spacecraft that prevent it from being used again. According to NASA, these astronauts will remain there for 8 months. How did this failure happen? How much can we blame Boeing? Let's understand this situation. Before starting, it's important to clarify that although both astronauts are stuck in space, they are not in any kind of danger. The International Space Station is more than 350 feet long from end to end. It can accommodate many people, and the living and working space on the ISS is bigger than a 6-bedroom house. There's space for 6 people to sleep on the ISS, with enough food, water, clothes, and an oxygen supply system. There are 2 bathrooms, a gym, and a 360 degrees view bay window. Although it is not a luxury hotel, it is a comfortable place to stay and survive. The ISS has its own oxygen generating system, which generates oxygen through the electrolysis of water. It also recycles oxygen. When we exhale, we release a high quantity of carbon dioxide as well as some oxygen. The ISS can extract and recover that oxygen, using it again. Similarly, there is an excellent recycling system for water. Urine is recycled into drinking water, and the system can also capture all traces of moisture released as breath or sweat. In terms of food, the ISS carries reserves for 6 months. Every 5 to 6 months, the crew members on the ISS keep rotating. Typically, there are 6 to 7 people on the expeditions, and Expedition 71 indicates that this is the 71st team of crew members that have gone to the ISS on rotation. These expeditions have been ongoing for 24 years, since the International Space Station was first launched in the year 2000. Since then, the ISS hasn't been left empty for extended periods. Someone or the other has always been present. Expedition 71 ended on September 24, 2024, and the astronauts returned to Earth, replaced by the crew members of Expedition 72. For now, NASA has stated that Barry and Sunitha are now parts of Expeditions 71 and 72, conducting research and experiments with the other astronauts. It's not like these 2 astronauts are stuck in space with nothing to do. Expedition 71 was researching space botany, including how flowers can be grown in space, fluid shifts caused by space travel, algae-based life support systems, and therapies for neurodegenerative diseases. Both Barry-Wilmore and Sunitha Williams are highly experienced astronauts. Barry is 61 years old and has previously spent 178 days in space. Sunitha Williams, of Indian origin like Kalpana Chawla, was born in America and is 58 years old. She has spent 322 days in space before this mission and was part of expeditions 14, 15, 32, and 33. She also commanded Expedition 33, showcasing her extensive experience. Overall, these two astronauts should not face any major issues, as they will have food, water, and oxygen. Clothes were a minor concern since they were only carrying enough for 8 days, but NASA sent a shipment of personal belongings on August 6 to resolve that issue. Now, let's discuss the problematic aspects related to the Starliner spacecraft. Boeing Starliner is an orbital spacecraft known as the Crew Space Transportation 100 Starliner, or CST-100. After SpaceX, Boeing is the only private company that has successfully launched an orbital spacecraft to the ISS. What does orbital spacecraft mean? Orbital spacecraft are launched at such high velocities that they can reach Earth's orbit and then orbit around the Earth, requiring a speed of over 28,000 km per hour. In contrast, suborbital spacecraft reach the edge of space but cannot orbit Earth, typically reaching speeds below 7,000 km per hour. Building an orbital spacecraft, especially one for human travel, is significantly more complex. In addition to SpaceX and Boeing, only 3 countries have developed human orbital spacecraft: China, Russia, and the USA. India is also attempting this with the Gaganyaan mission, which aims to send humans to space in an orbital spacecraft, with the first uncrewed test flight scheduled for December this year. NASA initiated its Commercial Crew program in 2011, collaborating with private companies. Many companies bid for this program, including Blue Origin and Sierra Nevada. In 2014, SpaceX and Boeing were selected for the program. The first SpaceX Crew 1 flight launched in November 2020 and was successful. Their spacecraft, crewdragon, resembles Boeing Starliner. However, the Starliner faced multiple issues. The first launch date for the Starliner CST was set for May 6, 2024. On that date, the countdown was stopped due to a faulty pressure valve just 2 hours before launch. Then, on June 1, another attempt was cancelled just 4 minutes before launch due to a computer abort system. On June 5, prior to the scheduled launch, Boeing and NASA's engineers were managing a helium leak. Helium is crucial for the propulsion system and the spacecraft's thrusters. After the spacecraft docked at the ISS, a 4th helium leak was discovered. Following these incidents, the Commercial Crew Program Manager of Boeing admitted they needed to understand the root cause, indicating a major systemic issue. Moreover, shortly before docking, it was found that 5 out of the 28 thrusters on the Starliner were not functioning properly. This forced Commander Barry-Wilmore to manually control the spacecraft. Collaborating with ground engineers, he reset the thrusters, and 4 out of 5 began operating again, enabling a successful docking at the ISS. NASA's Steve Stitch noted that this failure stemmed from a data issue rather than hardware problems. Following the June 6 events, NASA and Boeing conducted hot fire tests on the thrusters, discovering they overheated due to direct sunlight exposure. When tested without sunlight, they operated normally. However, uncertainty remained regarding the overheating issue during the Starliner's return. Consequently, it was decided that the Starliner would return to Earth without the astronauts, who would remain on the ISS. NASA prioritized safety, recalling the Challenger disaster in 2003 when Kalpana Chawla's spacecraft tragically exploded upon re-entry. NASA plans to bring Sunitha Williams and Barrywilmore back to Earth using SpaceX's crewdragon spacecraft in February 2025, during the Crew 9 mission, with only 2 astronauts sent to ensure their safe return. This means the 2 astronauts will spend almost 9 months in space in total. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon.